Hey guys, Ben here. Welcome back to another live stream. We are here for the DCTV show episode 73. This is a late live stream. I apologize. I was very busy and I kind of got carried away, and then I realized what the time was and I was like, oh shit, I promised that I would do a live stream on Sunday because I didn't do one last week. So here we are. It's quite late, but hopefully you Americans and some of you Europeans, some of you British people are awake and watching the live stream. And I see some people in the chat. I see Cal. Welcome, Cal. Nathan is here. Rerum is here. DC World is here. Lots of people so far, and hopefully more people will join. So yeah, I just want to remind you guys we're going to be talking about The Flash, Superman, Lois, the Arrowverse as a whole, and everything in today's live stream. Please be sure to stick around throughout the entire live stream. There might be some things that are very interesting. I'll be taking your questions throughout this entire live stream. And the best way to get your questions answered live on the stream and popped up like Gary's super chat right here is if you send in super chats like Gary just sent in. And so how do you send a super chat? Well, you go to the chat and just underneath the chat function is a $sign. Click on the $sign, choose however much you want to donate. Can be as little as possible, or it can be as big as you want. And then you just leave your question. We'll pop up on the screen. We'll talk about it. No matter what we're talking about, we always go over super chats. And so that is just to remind you guys who are new or, haven't been here in a while. But anyway, you regulars know what it's about. And yeah, so talking about regulars, we got Andy in the chat. Welcome, Andy. You are awesome. Are you going to Comic-Con? That is the big question. I know Comic-Con's on. I didn't realize it was too late to kind of organize a trip over the Atlantic. But next year I shall be for sure at Comic-Con. As I will do my very best. I really do miss Comic-Con. It was so cool in 2019. But yeah, so let's get on with the live stream. We have our first super chat. Oh, Flashverse is here. Shout out Flashverse as usual. But the first super chat is from Gary. Welcome, Gary. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for sending in your super chat. I really appreciate it. So Gary says, what changes will there be? And are you doing every Sunday now? Are you mad at me? Are you proud of me? How has your life? How has the virus been in England? Okay, so it's like 3 questions. So what changes will there be? So that is what we're going to be discussing. Now, the changes that we're going to be talking about is I made videos on it this week. There was from my friend Comic Chris. He has a really good YouTube channel. He was actually at a Comic-Con event in London earlier last week, I think. And he was able to talk to David Ramsey, and David Ramsey gave a couple comments to do with, the future of the Arrowverse and everything like that. And so that's what we're going to be discussing, because what he suggests, it's big and there's big changes, but it's not like clickbait or anything. It's actually true. Like, things are changing. The Flash might be the last Arrowverse show, and that is a big deal, and we do need to talk about it. And because we talked about it in the videos this week, we need to talk about it in the live stream so I can talk to you guys about it. So that is what we're going to be talking about, Gary, throughout this live stream. That is a big topic. Plus, I'm going to be doing like a mini season overview for season 2 of Superman Lois and The Flash season 8. I'm going to give my opinions on both of the seasons, and you guys can as well in the chat. But Gary's second question is, will you be doing every Sunday for the live stream? So, okay, so normally I would do a Thursday live stream, right? That's just how I've done it, kind of. I think originally I did Wednesday, and then I changed it to a Thursday. And then in like the last maybe three weeks or so, I've been doing it on a Sunday. Now you might be asking, like Gary's asking, why a Sunday? Well, my theory is this. It's a Sunday. I feel like a lot of us don't work on Sundays. and we're off in the evening. So my idea is, if people are off, maybe you might be on YouTube and you might be like, oh yeah, let's tune into a DCTV show live stream. So that's kind of where I'm, sort of why I kind of shifted to Sunday. The first one was random, and then I realized, oh, this is kind of cool, and I kind of like doing it at the end of the week, just before like maybe the shows will come out, rather than doing it like midweek. So that's just my kind of reasonings. Hopefully, it makes sense. But how's it been in England? Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, decent, I guess. But thank you so much for the super chat, Gary. I really appreciate your support. And to everyone who is also in the live stream, you guys are awesome. And I will be answering your questions in the chat throughout this live stream. So if you can't send in super chats, it's okay. Send in via the chat. Try not to spam your question. I will read it if I can. There's just, generally a lot of comments to go through normally in the live stream. But I will occasionally scroll up, try and catch up with some of the stuff that I missed out on. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so let's go into, the main topic. So the main topic is to do with this talk that David Ramsey had with Comic Chris. I'm sure most of you guys have seen the video. Oh my god, I need to sneeze. Hold on, guys. One sec. Okay, it's not happening. It's not happening. I wasn't about to sneeze on the live stream. So there you go. That's why I took off the camera. I did not sneeze, by the way. It's there, but it's just not coming. Anyway, so Comic Chris, yeah, he's a good friend. He actually explained to me. I asked him this week. I was like, oh, was this an actual interview that you did, or was this like at the signing booth at London Film and Comic Con? And it turned out it was actually just them talking at the signing booth. And so he luckily got like 10 minutes to talk to him. So he had like a manner of questions that he asked. Good retention on what he asked and his answers. That's very good, because I have a terrible memory if I were to do that. But I guess it's kind of important stuff. So, yeah. So basically, what this kind of interview, I guess you could call it. You guys can check it out on Comic Chris's channel. It's like comic without the C at the end, and then Chris. He does really good videos. I mean, my 2 latest videos have been about this topic. So basically, what David Ramsey was actually saying in that is, he says, basically, in his own kind of words, says the Arrowverse, is not going to be a thing. It's kind of after the Flash, that's it. And so technically, we are going to probably be seeing the end of the Arrowverse, which is very sad, because our main hope was, Justice U's coming. It's an Arrow spin-off technically, because it's John Diggle. Oh, so this is going to be set in the Arrowverse proper? Well, no. It's apparently, according to David Ramsey, going to be set in the same universe as Superman Lois, and as that Diggle that we saw in Superman Lois in the season 2 finale. So that does not spell good news for the Arrowverse at all. And so with that in mind, this new Superverse, as people have been calling it, is definitely going to become a thing. Okay, I'm going to sneeze. Okay, I'm back and I have a red nose. Totally sneezed just then. Okay, so let's continue with that topic. I got sidetracked by my sneezing. And if I sneeze again, I will turn off the camera because you guys don't need to see that. My crazy sneezing face. But yeah, so in terms of what he talks about, it is very big for the Arrowverse. It's not anything that we should take lightly. Obviously, this isn't any kind of confirmation at all because, like I said, this is not an interview. This was just David talking to Chris. David obviously didn't know that Chris was, a YouTuber or someone who was like heavily involved in the Arrowverse. So I mean, I haven't asked Chris this, but I presume that David thought he was a fan, and so obviously he feels like he can be open about it, right? I feel like in an interview he wouldn't have revealed all of this. However, this is mainly his opinions, I feel like. So I wouldn't take it like uber seriously in terms of this is official confirmation about everything. But you can tell from the way that things ended in Superman and Lois season 2, this is the kind of path that we're going to be going down with the future of the Arrowverse, or as people are calling it, the Superverse now. So that is just the way that I kind of feel things are going, and with David saying this, it kind of just solidifies it even more, and especially him talking about how like Justice U could be set not in the main Arrowverse, not in Earth Prime with our Diggle from Arrow, but actually the Diggle from Superman and Lois. That is a big deal. That spells the end for the Arrowverse. So, yeah, we need to discuss this, talk about this, and actually just, go break it down. So, I'm going to be reading your comments in just 1 second. We have a couple of super chats that have come in. So, we got Gary sends in another super chat. Thank you very much, Gary. I really appreciate your support. Gary says, "Do you want the Flash? Do you think the Flash will have a season 10 to get 200 episodes?" Yeah, that's a good question, Gary. I do think we will get a season 10. Obviously, that's very much so dependent on like if Grant is down and if some of the other cast members are down. I think they could do it without some of the other characters and bring in new characters, but they need Grant. He is like the number one. If you don't have Grant, you don't have a show. Similar to Supergirl, if you don't have Melissa, you don't have Supergirl. And so with that, I think Grant wants to stick around at least for a bit longer. And so I do feel like we're going to be seeing a Flash season 10, and we'll probably get to 200 episodes. So that's my opinion. Thank you very much for the super chat, Gary. I appreciate it. Cal sends in a 99-cent super sticker. I really appreciate it, Cal. Thanks for the support. But yeah, so let's go ahead and read a couple of your comments since we've been talking about this topic. I think the title for the new hero show should be labeled as the Heroverse. It's pretty good. I think the reason that people have been saying Superverse is because it's Superman Lois centric, just like how the Arrowverse spawned out of Arrow. So I guess it makes sense, but Heroverse not bad as well. I can deal with Superman and Lois being on another Earth, but doesn't anyone find it dumb how they implied Superman has been the only superpowered hero in that universe? So I would have to agree. I think I'm okay with it being on another Earth. I don't think it's a biggest deal. I think it's kind of sad that, we're not seeing our original Supergirl version of Superman. However, I do agree that I think it's dumb that they're saying Superman's the only hero on their Earth, because I really don't believe that. I feel like there's definitely other heroes, and it would make no sense to connect Gotham Knights to Superman and Lois, because the start of Gotham Knights, Batman already exists, so why does no one know about Batman? So it just doesn't really make any sense at all. Exactly. That's literally what I just said. So good minds think alike. Okay, so let's continue. So basically, throughout Chris's talk with David Ramsey, he basically explained a little bit about his opinions, and so he says basically with what they did in Superman and Lois, the way they establish where it fits in the Arrowverse, obviously not on Earth Prime, it basically gives them a clean slate. It makes it so that anyone can come back, and there's lots of opportunities to bring characters that we've seen in the past that they want to change, that they want to bring in. They can bring in anyone that they want. Honestly, they can do kind of any story. They can rehash stories. They can do it in different ways. It's really all down to them as of right now. And it's, I mean, in terms of storytelling, I guess it's good, but it's sad to see them actually neglecting the Arrowverse canon. That's just my personal opinion. I think a lot of you share that because there was obviously big backlash to when they actually announced this for the first time. But yeah, with everyone being able to come back as a possibility, David Ramsey, when talking to Chris, actually inferred that Stephen Amell could be one of those people that could return. Obviously, his character's not in the best state to return as of right now. However, it's always possible. It's the Arrowverse. Anything can happen. If you're dead, you're pretty much not dead. But with this, they can bring a new doppelganger version of any character. So that includes Oliver Queen. And that is what David Ramsey was talking about in this talk that they had, because he said, if scheduling works out, if things are right, he's sure that maybe Stephen could return as Oliver, but like a different version of Oliver. Okay, so let's move on to talk about some of these super chats. Gary sends in another super chat. Thank you very much, Gary. I really appreciate your support towards the channel once again. Gary says, do you think the Flash and Superman Lois will, and he continues, return in January? Yeah, I really do feel like they're going to return in January, Gary. I don't think it's going to be any later. I'll be very mad if it's any later. In terms of scheduling, they're not having to deal with many COVID-related delays. So in terms of a normal CW season and a mid-season premiere, it normally comes out in January. So yes, it should come out in January. Thank you for the super chat once again. Also, big shout out to Cal, member of the channel as well. If you want to become a member, all you need to do is go near the subscribe button. There is a join button. You click the join button and you can become a member, and you can take part in our monthly member Zoom call. We just did one recently. We'll do another one pretty soon to all of the members who are here right now. But to anyone who wants to join and talk to us live, me, Nathan, Cal, anyone else, please be sure to become a member. It doesn't matter what tier you're in, any sort of tier, you are included in the Zoom members call. So yeah, that is a good way to get in. So shout out to Cal and all the other members who are here on the live stream, or just are members in general and are watching the video afterwards. Okay, so we have Cal Super Chat, $4.99. Thank you very much, Cal. He says, do you think Earth Prime Superman could still show up on The Flash? I think that is a very interesting topic. Now, I haven't really heard people talking about that much in terms of like the original Supergirl version of the character showing up. I think that would make for a very cool crossover, if I'm completely honest. I think it'd be sick if they want to cross over the Flash and Superman and Lois, but they don't want to compromise what they've set up on Superman and Lois. They can say this is the Crisis and Supergirl version of the character that is showing up on the Flash, and that is one of the reasons why he's acting different, or he's a little bit different, because that's just the way he is. He's not Superman Lois version of the character. He is the original version. So yeah, I would like that. I would like him to even show up on Superman Lois and meet our new version of Superman. It would be very interesting to see them side by side because they're very similar. They just kind of made a few different decisions, and like, you know, the kids is a bit different and stuff like that. Nathan says, apologies for the yawns. It is past midnight here, but that's my own fault for not setting an alarm and messing up the timer. So Nathan says, I'm coming to terms with the Superverse thing, but I'm hoping they don't do the same storyline and characters that they had in the Arrowverse, because there were a lot of characters fans loved. Yeah, I tend to agree. I don't want them to rehash storylines. I am of the opinion that I would actually like to see characters that we've seen in the past who are different or even recast, just for the fact that it's going to be cool to see an alternate version. Like, I'm a big supporter of maybe like a different version of Supergirl showing up. I think that would be very interesting just as a comic book fan to see it. I would like to see, like, you know, the Flash of Superman and Lois's Earth, but I wouldn't really want them to rehash the same storylines that they've done in the past. That's just my personal opinion, but I respect how you think, Nathan. Okay, so Gary sends in another super chat. He says, is Eric and the others joining the stream later? So Eric was actually going to join the stream, and then, as I just said to you guys, silly me, and Eric, if you're watching this, I really do apologize, but I was away, I was not home, and I totally forgot to set my alarm to remind me to stream earlier, because I really did lose track of time, and that is why Eric's not here. He was supposed to be here, but that's my fault, so I apologize to you guys who was excited for Eric to be on the stream, but we'll make it happen. I just totally lost track of time today. I don't know where the time went. I really do feel like, you know, it's a little bit to do with the heat. Like, you kind of lose your mind a bit. But yeah, it's been really hot here in London. Like, it's going to be like nearly 40 degrees Celsius. So what's that in Fahrenheit? That's like 104 about this week. Tomorrow and the next day. So yeah, I apologize. All right. We do not want to watch this show of doppelgangers. IMO. Yeah, fair enough. Like, I get that. But so we talked about pretty much most of the stuff that I want to talk about in regards to, you know, Comic Chris and his talk with David Ramsey. If you guys have any other questions that you want to ask me about the David Ramsey stuff and the Arrowverse, the Superverse, send in super chats right now. We'll answer them. I'm going to be scrolling through and checking everyone's opinions and thoughts on this, because this is big for the Arrowverse. It's a big change, and I think the future isn't going to look the same for the Arrowverse. So yeah, I really don't know where we're going, but also in the David Ramsey talk, he mentioned that the Flash could be ending with like season 9, or whenever it does end, it's going to be the end of the Arrowverse, because that's going to be the last show that is directly linked to Arrow, directly linked to Supergirl, Legends, Batwoman, stuff like that, because now they are setting up this new Superverse that is Superman and Lois centric and has some new shows. So, you know, they're kind of throwing that away. And they like the idea of, you know, the Arrowverse ending so that they have this clean slate and that anyone can come back. But at one point, they're going to do the same to Superman and Lois by this account, right? If, you know, things become too crazy with the Superverse, then they're going to wreck on it, and it's going to be the, I don't know, Flashverse, you know, when there's a Flash spin-off after, or something like that. Okay. We have a super chat from Gary here. Shout out to Gary for all the super chats. You're the best, my son. My son. I have no idea why I said that. Anyway, Gary says, will Zoom, Savitar, and DeVoe return in season 9? I don't know, but they would probably return for the 200th episode if we get that next season. Oh, sorry, not next season. In a season 10, I believe that's when the 200th episode would be. So I would see that happening then. I'm honestly not sure if Savitar or DeVoe will return anytime soon. I don't think DeVoe's like ever gonna return. He's not a fan favorite. But I believe Eric Wallace has been talking about Zoom a little bit, so it'll be interesting to see if Zoom makes any sort of appearance in the near future. Could be he's teasing something, who knows. Okay, so let's move on from this. So now we're going to be going into our thoughts and opinions and our season overview of Superman and Lois, and then we'll go into our season overview of The Flash. Once again, I have to remind you guys, please be sure to send in your super chats to get your questions answered and featured on the stream. Just like Gary's questions have been featured when he asked them. So send in those super chats now and we'll answer them about David Ramsey or about, your... Now we're talking about your opinions on Superman and Lois Season 2 overall. So definitely start commenting. Start sending in the super chats if you have any big burning things you want to say. What's the good? What's the bad? What's the ugly about this last season of Superman and Lois? So I personally, in my notes, very short notes, I mean, it's been so broken up, I really can't remember certain chunks of the season. However, that goes to The Flash as well, to be honest. I don't remember everything. I'll admit it, before the stream, I had to kind of flick back through some of the episodes and be like, what happened in this episode? Because some episodes are very forgettable. But anyway, so Superman and Lois Season 2, my overall review of the season. So, the good. Definitely Superman. I liked Superman's story this season. I thought it was interesting. I liked the reveals at the end of the season with Lana. I thought that really paid off in a good way. I was very happy to do with Jordan this season. I thought Jordan had some good development. And I like how it tied in at the end with Superman's reveal to Lana, because by the end, Sarah is told by Jordan, well, she pretty much sees that Jordan is Superboy in the hallway when they are getting attacked. And so now, with pretty much the whole family knowing, we are kind of back to that good spot I think we were in before. And now, obviously, they can be more open. And I think that's really a good step to make, because obviously there has been this, back and forth this whole time of being like, oh, should we tell them? Should we not? And us fans being like, tell Sarah, tell Lana, blah, blah, blah. And now they've finally done it. But yeah, so I was a fan of Superman this season, Clark. I thought his fights were interesting with Bizarro, with Ali. And next season, they are teasing more Clark Kent, more him doing reporting. He hasn't done that in a while. But in regards to Jordan, I think Jordan was good this season. I really did like him. Jonathan's story was interesting with the ex-Kryptonite and him not revealing. Obviously, he felt a bit neglected this season. Whilst Jordan was, gaining his powers, becoming better, and being trained eventually by his dad, which was obviously very, very exciting for him. And it's exciting for us fans because it was awesome. It produced some awesome scenes. Bizarro World this season was also very cool. I really like some of the shots where you got to see Bizarro World in this kind of red-drenched world because of their red sun and the way that things are. Thought it was really good. I thought it was interesting that they killed off Bizarro so early. Very good twist. I liked seeing the other versions of our character. Kind of wish we saw a bit more. However, it was cool enough to see the Eiffel Tower stacked on top of each other. It was crazy. John Henry Irons this season, very good. He had a couple of episodes where he was missing along with Natalie, but I generally like his character and his progression so far. So yeah, that was definitely one of the goods. Now, let's move on to the bad. I'm going through this quite quick because I want to hear your opinions. So start, again, typing it in because I'm going to answer it afterwards. But the bad of Superman and Lois Season 2, and I have to say, overall, I think I prefer Season 1 of Superman and Lois. I think it's very consistent. And this season was very consistent. Always a good episode, but not always the best choices in some cases. One of the big cases is the Arrowverse reveal in the season finale. I do feel like this is a big retcon. We're a little bit fed up with Superman and Lois' retcons now as Arrowverse and as Supergirl fans. But I think this took like a step too far in a lot of people's opinions because this is them, changing everything, right? This is them being like, no, in season 1, when Diggle actually talked about fighting alongside Superman, that didn't exist. Just forget about it. And they're asking you a lot, right? They're asking you to forget a lot. And I don't know if we can forget it as Arrowverse fans. So, yeah, that reveal in the finale definitely tainted the season a little bit. But also another storyline, Lana and Kyle don't really see much reason for their divorce apart from creating drama. It was nice when they got back together, kind of a little bit more towards the end of the season. Kyle had a bit more of an interesting story than Lana. However, it was cool seeing Lana become the mayor, which was cool. And then her finding out to do with Superman. But I feel like in between the good bits with Lana, there's just been it's been a bit stagnant, I would say. Like, not much has happened. Okay, Lucy Lane. Now, this is a big controversy at the start of the season. I feel like I like this character, but I don't like her as much as the Supergirl version still. I still feel like a little bit like cheated, I guess, because it is a retcon, but now it's set in another Earth, but it wasn't originally supposed to be set in another Earth. So that's why we were annoyed. We were like, how does this make sense with Supergirl and everything? But they've tried to make it make sense. I don't think this version of Lucy is that good. I think she's pretty much just, lost in her own world. And I don't know, it was just kind of hard to attach to her story this season. But Ali, I was not an Ali fan. I don't think Ali was a very good villain, personally. I would say Ali is very weak, if I'm being completely honest. Her plans dragged on too long. I feel like this was just teased all season, and when it finally happened, it was a CGI fest. I don't think it looked that good, which breaks away from how good that Superman Lois normally looks. So I didn't really like, her eyes coursing with lightning and, lightning going everywhere. Her literally merging the Earth physically together doesn't make any sense. But yeah, so I have some nitpicks too with Ali. I think Ali is possibly the biggest flaw of the season. I don't think she was a very good villain. But also my last flaw of the season was the big breaks. I feel like that does contribute to the way that you see the episodes and how anticipated and how much you anticipate the episodes. Because if you haven't, in fact, caught up and exactly when the next episode is coming up and you've seen the advert on CW, it's huge. And I think that impacts the way that people enjoyed the season. So yeah, not generally a big fan of that. Okay. I feel the Cushing drama took up too much screen time. I do like the Cushing family, but I wanted drama. I prefer it in the Kemp family. Yeah, I tend to agree. I think they did take up a bit of time. I'm not going to say it's the worst thing in the world. Cal says, reckon Lucy was okay, but I like the Supergirl version better. Yeah, I have to agree. It's not terrible in this. Not bad, but okay. And she's better in Supergirl. I think that's a fact. Okay, so we're going to go into our last topic, and you can again send in your super chats if you want to talk about it and be featured in the live stream, or you can just send it in the chat if you want. This is going to be my last topic of the live stream. It's going to be a shorter live stream, just like some of the previous weeks. I'm very tired. It's like 12:30 right now. kind of like half falling asleep, and it's really hot here, like I'm on the edge of sweating. If you guys don't know, in England, the air conditioning is pretty much non-existent, so here I am sitting in a oven with no cooling. Yeah, it's pretty much, oven temperature. Anyway, so we're going to be talking about The Flash Season 8 and my overall thoughts on the season, my review, what I thought about it, and everything like that. So yeah, the good. Reverse Flash was good. I really liked how much he was featured this season in Armageddon at the end of the season, with Barry going to visit him multiple times, but also with him when he went, negative Reverse Flash. Thought it was interesting. Wasn't a huge fan of the suit, but that was mainly because of the helmet that he was wearing. It looked a little bit weird, in my opinion. But yeah, generally, just so nice to have Reverse Flash around. I think he really elevated the season. If it wasn't for Reverse Flash, this season could have been much worse, could have been a bit forgettable. But he definitely elevated it. One of the best storylines this season, in my opinion, was the redemption of Thawne. For the Matt Letcher version of the character, seeing an actual good Thawne was so nice. I don't know why, but I really bought into it, and I really liked that story. I thought that was really, really great work. Like, amazing. Like, great acting. I think I really, really was sold to it. And it was very emotional. When negative Reverse Flash, played by Tom Cavanagh, got rid of the good Thawne. It was just very nice to see a good Thawne. Okay, so Armageddon, another thing. Really great start to the season. However, some not so good stuff came after that because they didn't know where to start the next graphic novel, I guess. But yeah, Armageddon was interesting. I love the twist that it was actually Reverse Flash who wanted to orchestrate Armageddon. Rather than Despero, because Despero seemed like the villain throughout, but it turns out he wasn't the entire villain, although he had his, missions, I guess you could call it. Another good thing, I thought the way that Frost went out was pretty good, pretty decent. Not gonna say it's like amazing, but it was interesting, and I like the cliffhanger at the end of the season. Very curious to see if it's Frost, if it's Caitlin, what's happened to her in that pod. So definitely had some good stuff to do with the Flash this season. Some bad. I would say there's a significant amount of not so good. Not going to say it's absolutely terrible. But, at the end of the season, didn't particularly like it when the Forces returned. Also, I didn't really like the Allegra episode where we had the return of Sunshine and Ultraviolet and all of them. Like, I really don't like those black hole villains. Also, CC System Media, not a big fan this season. I don't really like the way that they went with it. Taylor is so annoying, and I think it's just way too over the top, if I'm being completely honest. Also, Iris being MIA for most of the season, just being absolutely nowhere. It just felt weird. It was just completely weird. And I know Candace wasn't there all the time, and they set this up previously, and they wanted to give answers, and at least they gave answers. But yeah, it was just weird not having Candace around and Iris around for such a big chunk of the season. It really did feel like a plot device. She was pretty much a plot device this season. Another not so good thing, probably my main not so good thing, is the interlude episodes. I really have trouble remembering a lot of what happened in those episodes, but I can remember specifically the Allegra episode. Wasn't a fan of that. The Goldface episode in the precinct, wasn't a fan of that. But definitely the Allegra episode was was the episode that I didn't like the most. I just really don't like Sunshine and everyone like that, and them all returning. Just, yeah, it wasn't good. Plus Taylor, so annoying. But that's just my personal opinion, of course. You don't have to agree with me at all if you don't want to agree with me. But yeah, that's pretty much my overall thoughts on Superman, Lois, and The Flash. I'm going to quickly read through some of your chats. And if you want to send in any final super chats, do it right now, because we are going to the end of the stream in a couple minutes. But yeah. Goldface episode, I was annoyed, never like it. Yeah, I didn't like it at all. I don't like Goldface, even if he's a meme. The interlude episodes were pointless, because if you took those out, you still have 15 episodes, something they were originally going for in the first place. Yeah, I completely agree. I think they're pointless. And I preferred the villain of the week stuff, where it was a different villain, but the whole team was involved, rather than being about a specific character that's not the Flash. Also, another not so good thing, Cecile. I don't know what they're doing with Cecile. That ending cliffhanger. Like, I really don't know what they're doing. They're trying to make her so powerful, like the most powerful meta in the city. I was like, ha, you really mean that? I don't know. I don't like the way that they've kind of gone around Cecile, and the way that she's been written in the last couple of seasons. Not a huge fan. But yeah, that pretty much does it for this live stream, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you've been tuning in live, shout out to all of you guys who have been here. Remember, we'll be back hopefully next Sunday for another live stream. Fingers crossed with Eric. That would be awesome. Again, my fault, so don't blame Eric. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you have a good night. I'm going to go to sleep. I should have a video out tomorrow. I will let you guys know if I do plan to do that, which I do plan. So yeah, stay tuned, turn on notifications, subscribe, join, become a member if you want to talk to me on a Zoom call with the rest of your fellow members pretty soon. And then also, if you want to support the channel in any way, there is a tip link in the description below. You don't need to tip right now, but you can tip at any point, and you can actually do it throughout the week. So if you want to prepare your super chat, you can go through the link that I just sent in the chat. You can send it in at any point. So say, you come up with something later in the week, use that link. So keep that link that I've just sent in the chat, because it's very useful. If, say, maybe you miss out on a live stream and you can't make it, send in a super chat. Well, it's kind of a super chat. It basically does the same thing. You send in some support towards the channel, and then you can also put in a question, and that will be featured in the next live stream 100%, because I get notified about that. So you can do that just in case you miss the live stream, or you have any burning questions throughout the week before the next live stream, and then you'll be featured there. So I think that's pretty cool. Let me know if you guys intend to do that. It would be a cool experiment. But yeah, for now, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.